Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It is so amazing to see each and every one of you, those who I know and those who I haven't met yet. It should be a good Shabbos. And we are starting this Shabbat morning out right with this amazing young woman, Keira's becoming bat mitzvah. You heard Andrew and Rabbi Daniel singing Ve'ahavta, the Re'echa. Well, you're not done yet. Exit. Keira's an actress, you guys know that, so that was exit stage right or left?
Left.
Well, I know that's left. Okay. Exits. She was not exit stage left. So they were singing kind of as we were kind of just getting ready, some Hebrew words that come right from the same Torah scroll that Keira's going to chant from in just a bit. Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. And those are some of the words that kind of live even past the scroll. Love your fellow person. We know it popularly as love your neighbor as yourself. And you know, these days we're just kind of getting used to being back together in person. And so I just invite everybody, even with our masks on, to take a look around and see the faces of the people we're gathered with, you know, and send them your love, you know, because we need each other. That's part of what this is all about. That's part of what bat mitzvah is all about, remembering that mitzvah. That's the primary one, to love each other, to find common ground, to connect to each other. So this is Shabbat Breshit, besides being the Shabbat of Keira's bat mitzvah. What does that mean? Keira knows what it means. This is the Shabbat where we start reading the Torah from the beginning, again, every year, from the beginning. So let this be a morning of new beginnings. A new season of bar and bat mitzvahs in person, doing everything we can to keep each other safe. A new year of reading the stories and the teachings of the Torah. We hope it's a new beginning for the world, you know, maybe a renewal and a reset to keep on trying to be better ourselves, to make a better world. And it's a new beginning, just because it's a new day. And so every service, you know, in the morning, we remember to take a moment and just be grateful. Just be grateful. I know that you woke up this morning, Keira, and you were so grateful it was your bat mitzvah day, you know? I feel like the minute you walked into Hebrew school, how many years ago was that when you started at CRC and your family? Wait, fourth grade?
4 years ago.
Yeah, fourth grade?
Yeah.
Fourth grade, and I think she was ready then, right? And now even Rabbi Karen agrees, the 2 thumbs up, and now even more ready. And an 8th grader, you know, we're going to have a bunch of not only 7th grade bar and bat mitzvahs this year, but also 8th graders too. So like Ella coming on up, and so we've got a lot to celebrate, a lot to appreciate in this moment of new beginnings. So on page 2, let us, if you know the words, sing along. If you don't, you know, Andrew and Leslie and Rabbi Daniel make it eminently hummable. right? Just feel free to clap and sing and just express yourselves, express your gratitude and your joy as we go through this service together with Keira leading us. And so moda ani means just, I'm grateful. So count your blessings. Go.
Moda ani lefanecha, ruach hayakayam, shekezarta b'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunetecha, Rabba emunetecha. Shekazarta b'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunetecha, Rabba emunetecha, modeh ani lefanecha, ruach chai v'chayam, Shekezarta b'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunetecha, Rabba emunetecha, Rabba emunetecha.
Amen. Keira, as you lead this service, we want you to feel not only the community that's gathered here, your friends and family and CRC members who are coming to Bat Mitzvah for the first time in quite a while. Larry said it's good to see you on person and not just on the screen, right, this morning. But we want you not only to feel our presence, but we want you to feel the arms of Jewish tradition literally wrapping around you. And that's part of why we're asking you to wear a talit, or you've decided to wear a talit, a prayer shawl that represents all the mitzvahs that are available to you to serve the world, and also to feel the arms of your tradition surrounding you. So I'm going to ask your wonderful parents to come up to help you put that talis on and stay here while you make the blessing.
I want to say something really quickly about this talis. It is,
Hey, Tara.
you might notice that it looks the same as the mural that you walked over on your way in. And I really wanted to get this for Keira because, as Ella knows, in religious school, they would all sit there with their arms around each other, singing about how everything was going to be all right. And so now you can have this wrapped around you and remember that feeling of community and love and everything being all right. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lahitatef batzitzi.
Amen.
Beautiful. Yeah, got that mosaic, that beautiful mosaic representing the diversity of the Jewish people and our celebrations. And you know, the artist is from India. You know that, right? Did you know that? Didn't know that?
I think I did.
Yeah, now you remember. Learning is all about remembering again.
Yeah.
Right? You know that story that, the angel taps us right there when we're born, because we knew everything when we're born, but we have to forget it so we can remember it again. So now you remember. That's an artist. Her name is Siona Benjamin. She's a Jewish artist from India, and we've wanted a mosaic on our floor since the building was built, but it took the right artist and the right moment, and now you have it on your prayer shawl. And so, we just give thanks for these holy moments, these sacred moments to make sure that we are as welcoming and inclusive and loving and embracing as possible. So besides welcoming all of you, I want to make sure I welcome everyone who's streaming. I'm sure you've got people in your life who are watching you from all over. And I know there's also people who are just tuned in because it's Shabbat morning. So Ma Tovu, how good it is, it says, when we are all together, hearts united in this holy moment.
Please chant together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzalmo.
Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has created me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben horim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who provides
strength for
the needy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayaf koach. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher hechim et tzadei gaver. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who guides the steps of human beings. Amen. I think I skipped a line on that one.
No, I skipped a line.
No, it was me. We're going to take this on the road. So I want to bring everyone's attention to page 5. We for those of you who are at CRC once in a while or often know that this is where we sing some passages from the book of Psalms, and it becomes a time for people, if they choose, to pray with their whole selves, not just their words, but also their bodies, and it's kind of a dancing moment. And, you know, obviously in this climate and with the pandemic, a concern, we kind of talked about how we wanted to manage this moment. Keira definitely wanted the dancing, correct? So listen, if you feel moved to get up and move, try to keep a distance and maybe not hold hands in this one, or, we'll figure it out. This is the first B'nai Mitzvah in the fall of a number of them coming up, and I'm sure we'll figure all this out. But these are supposed to be verses, it says, of praise. The Psalms, whether historically it's true or not, they must have been meant to sing and probably to dance to, too. Listen, you can dance in place as well. Keira's going to help out those that want to move a little bit more than that. In the words of the ancient Hebrew prophets, we say, hit it!
Well, I'm a lot more awake. I hope you all are too. So we were talking just a minute ago about what an amazing morning this is, right? You become bat mitzvah, but this is also our first time really back in the building this way, with Shabbat school happening, with family services beforehand, with people in the building, with life in this building in a different sort of way. And so we make this separation. We're about to say a Chatzi Kaddish. You're about to lead us in a Chatzi Kaddish, which is always a separation. It's always a mark that we're transitioning from one place to another, from one space to another. So appropriately, too, you're going to read from Parshat Breshit. You're going to read the very beginning of the Torah for us. What a way to welcome each other back into this space. What a way for you to welcome us all back into this space. So we begin to make that separation with the words of Chatzi Kaddish. And I'll let you tell everyone the page.
Yikara v'yikara shemei rabba. Be'alma divrach yirtei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayecho be'Yisrael. Bagala uv'zman kariv v'meru amen. Yehesh me'rabba mevorach le'olam u'le'omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Dahamiran Be'alma V'Meru Amen. Individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. Please rise as we call each other the prayer with the Baruch.
Page 7.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvarei hoshe oseh shalom uvarei et hakol hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim uvtivo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam bechol ma'asita ma'al ha'aretz kinyanecha titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al sheva ma'aseh yadecha Ve'al morei oshita yafa'arucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot. Together, in some special way, every person completes the universe. If I do not play my part, I injure the pattern of all existence. The same stream of life that runs through my veins day and night runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It's the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth and in numberless blades of grass, and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. Same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death in ebb and flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing my blood this moment. The ones that love us never really leave us. We can always find them in here.
מצוותיך ויחל לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
Only 1 to 2 years ago, we would sing Shema in religious school. I remember my friends and I would always harmonize to the prayers, and this one was my favorite. Every time I sing Shema, I remember those good times. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta. Oh, please be seated.
Page 12.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'otecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lektecha b'derech u'shokrecha u'kumecha u'shartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yisharecha Leman tizkeru v'yasitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoseti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them on as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments, and be holy to your God. I am your God who led you out of Egypt. To be your God, I am your God. It is because of hope that you suffer. It is through hope that you'll change things.
That was right. Hope. That's the operative word of this moment in our prayer service. Hope for something better. Hope, as Rabbi Daniel always says, to close that gap between the way things are and the way they ought to be, the way we know they ought to be, filled with love and compassion and righteousness and justice. And as it specifically says in this next prayer, another passage from Torah, there should be liberation for all peoples.
Nedar bakodesh, mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha, nedar bakodesh, Torah te'ilot, osef elei, Torah te'ilot, osef elei. שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד 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 Sur Israel, Kuma Bayezrat Israel, Uvdeu Kunameto Yomona Israel, Goaleno Adonai Savaot Shemo, Kadosh Israel, Baruch Atah Adonai, God Israel.
You, the things you have learned will guide you.
We're on page 15, the kind of introductory passage again from the Psalms of this group of prayers known as Tefillah, prayer itself.
Adonai, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la la. Adonai, Sifatai Titach, Ufi Akid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifatai Titach, Ufi Akid, Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotinu v'Imotzeinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei
Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah.
Together, praise be the God of our ancestors, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, of Sarah, of Rebekah, of Leah, and of Rachel. Praise be the source of strength and courage, the source of kindness and good deeds. Praise be the source of gentleness and love, of softness and kind words. Praise be the person who transcends strength through gentleness. Praise be the person who perfects gentleness through strength. Praise be the person who acts according to the best that is within. Person who reaches out to touch the best in others. Praise be the gentle faithfulness of Abraham and the valiant strength of Sarah. Praise be God who infused humanity with divine potential. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rav l'shia, mechayei hayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato l'shenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidome lach, melech memihit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true.
You might notice you heard those words a couple of times in song and in spoken word, so that we not only are in a sanctuary, we believe, but each of us can be a sanctuary, a being filled with light and peace and kedusha, holiness.
נקדיש שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה על זה ויאמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר, שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני מקומו.
be seated. If you take your time, you will make your mark. Close your eyes and dream when the night gets dark.
For Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם.
Of all kinds.
Red sea, red sea, red sea, Adonai Eloheinu, be'amcha Yisrael, u'devilatam, be'avat ekaber, u'teviratzon tamid, u'teviratzon tamid, avodat Yisrael ameta, baruch atah Adonai, המחזיר שכינתו לציון. המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Dear old world, she murmured, you are very lovely, and I'm glad to be alive in you. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding.
So it makes sense that the last prayer in this section of prayer is a prayer for peace. And as we always teach, all our prayers in some way, shape, or form are for peace, for shalom, for wholeness. And so this is how to make peace in our own ways, in little ways and in big ways. We can create shalom.
Sim, 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 shalom. Sim, 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 shalom. Sim, 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 shalom. Tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom. Sim,
Sim shalom.
sim, sim, shalom. Tova uveracha.
So, Keira, a moment ago, Rabbi Randy talked about this idea, pulled it from your quote, right? This idea that we find ourselves in a sanctuary, that we make ourselves a sanctuary of holiness. And Rabbi Randy talked about how we have to find that sanctuary within each of us. And I couldn't help but noticing on the cover here that your Hebrew name is Batya, that you are a sanctuary of holiness. This is your name. So we all need to try to find that within ourselves. So we take a moment for private prayer, for personal reflection, to find that place of sanctuary, that peace within ourselves, so we can all be Batya.
Shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimaru, v'yimaru. Say shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimaru, v'yimaru, amen. Shalom bimromav, uyaseh Amen.
Please rise.
To begin the Torah service, I want to first ask your sister Amalia to come and open the ark, and then for Rabbi Daniel to come up to the bima, and we're going to have a ceremony as part of the ceremony.
So, Keira, if you want to come down here, we're going to invite your parents and your grandparents to come on forward and form a line over here. There's a midrash. There's an ancient story of our people that just as God was about to give the Torah at Mount Sinai, God had second thoughts about us. God looked at us and said, "Who will be your guarantors? Who's going to make that promise that we can all believe that the world will be the way it should be?" And we responded, we said, "Our ancestors will be our guarantors." And God looked back and said, "Your ancestors were wonderful, but their merit has been used up." And so we looked and we said, "The earth and the heavens will be our guarantors." And God looked back and said, "You know, if you don't treat the earth in the right way, it's not going to be here forever. It's not a guarantor." So we tried and we tried and we tried, and finally we said, it will be the next generation that will be our guarantors. And the Midrash says that God looked back and said, "These are good guarantors indeed." And so in a moment, we're going to pass this Torah to you. We're going to pass it through these generations of your family, your ancestors. And we're going to put it in your arms, because we know when we pass this to you, we know when we pass this sacred object to you, that we are placing it in the most wonderful of hands. We know that the world is a better place because you are here, and we know that the world is going to be a better place because you are standing up today to take your rightful place within it. So this is a Torah that has seen too much sorrow. This is a Torah that the Nazis collected. The Nazis collected because they said that they were going to wipe out all of the Jews who would ever exist, and they'd put these Torahs in a museum. This is a Torah that has seen the most awful that humanity can bring. And yet this is a Torah that we have here, that we have to celebrate you and to celebrate with you, that we're going to put in your arms, knowing that it's not just the awfulness that this Torah has seen, but it's also the beauty and also the joy, the baby namings that this Torah has seen over the last few hundred years, the other b'nai mitzvahs, the bar mitzvahs, the bat mitzvahs that this Torah has seen. And when we put it into your arms and when we sing and we dance around, we are going to put more joy into this Torah. We are going to entrust it into your arms, and we are going to put more joy into this world. So when you all are ready.
Holy moment, we're going to have you sing once again the words of Shema Yisrael. Your hearts, and you can clap if you want, and connect if you feel comfortable. Connect to the Torah, to Keira, but mostly to one another. And so music's going to start, and we're going to do what's called a hakafah, a joyful circling, kind of remembering just a week ago when we celebrated Simchat Torah and did the 7 circles. But I know with Keira, this one will feel like 7 because it'll be so filled with energy and goodness. And so once again, hit it. Aunt Andrea and Cousin Alex. Aunt Andrea and Cousin Alex. I'm sorry, and Cousin Gus. I'm sorry, Gus. Please be seated. Wow. That felt good. You should have seen Keira when we kind of went through the service. I think it was just last week. Keira was like pretending you guys were here, right? And because we did this part where she went with the Torah, and she was talking to these empty chairs. It was awesome.
Can I say what I'm saying?
You could do it, yes.
Would you like to touch it? Would you like to touch it? Yes, it is the Torah.
That's what she was doing. Amalia is a witness. Oh my, too much. I want to make sure everyone knows that while you are all celebrating with Keira and the Torah, Aunt Andrea and Cousin Alex and Cousin Gus very ably helped us get the Torah ready to be read. So yasher koach, you guys, great job. Thank you very much. And yes, we're here ready to read from the Torah. I also want to make sure this Torah time is also community time. It's always community time, but specifically, there's things that we want to talk about and celebrate and make sure we all kind of feel together. That's why we do a healing prayer after the Torah is read. But it's also a time to welcome, and I want to make sure everyone knows that. I'm sorry to call you out and embarrass you, but Adam Inlander, good. Adam Inlander is in the back there. Just drove here from California days ago and is joining CRC as our new executive director. So he is here for Shabbat and Keira's bat mitzvah, and we're so glad they're here. And I'm sure those of you, there'll be many of you will have many opportunities to get to know Adam as he starts his CRC journey. So I wanted to make sure we knew that. I also wanted to point out, as long as it's been a while since we've been together like this, the Torah stand that we use. Mel Goldman is in the back, a longtime member of CRC, and his father-in-law of blessed memory made this Torah stand. We not only is it incredibly useful and helpful, but it also helps us remember George Lamb. May his memory be a blessing. So thank you. So we are here. The Torah is out. Pretty easy to find Keira's spots. Why is that, Keira? Why is that, Keira?
It's the start of the Torah.
It's the start of the Torah. So, you go all the way to the right because Hebrew goes from right to left, and we find the beginning. So I'm going to do that right now. Should be pretty close. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll, as Keira says. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Okay. Okay. So you guys, as Keira is chanting, can follow along. The Hebrew of the beginning is on page 25, and the English translation is on page 26. I see that Maura Maxine and Golda, Rabbi Karen have come in. Even though it's the first day of religious school, Maxine told me, "You're not going to stop me from coming in and seeing Keira," right? I think those are her exact words, because just Keira, you've just became such an integral part of our religious school community and our community at large. And I know you've been working with Golda to get to this moment as well as your tutor. So I just know that they represent everybody that wanted to be here but couldn't be here, and we're so happy for you and proud of you. And so we also want to fill this moment with blessing, because it is a blessing for us to hear on Shabbat the words from Torah. And so we're going to have some people come up to make those blessings, the official blessings of the mitzvah of hearing Torah, and especially read by a bat mitzvah to be. And so the first aliyah is going to be your Aunt Jackie and Peter and your cousin Jordan. Ya'amdu sisya etel v'Peter v'Jordan aliyah. Do you have a Hebrew name, Jordan? Jordan. Yardain. Yardain. I like that. Aliyah le Torah Rishonah. The blessing is right here on page 25. Oh, and you got it.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz hayata tohu vavohu ve'hoshech al pnei tzehon ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim Vayomer Elohim Yehior Vayehior Vayar Elohim Et Ha'or Kitov Vayavdei Elohim Bein Ha'or Ubein Ha'oshech Vayikra Elohim Layor Yom Velochoshech Kara Laila Vayahir Vayahivoker Yom Echad. Just set it down.
Page 26.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Oh man, nicely done. You guys could up there? Yeah, you could do that for sure. You guys can stay up here though, just for one more aliyah. And I did want to say before I invite your folks up, Keira, for the second aliyah, the yad is just beautiful. That blue is amazing, and I know that yad is a special gift from Golda, who you worked with. We call it chevruta. Have you heard that term? So it's a good term to know. It's like when you study with someone, there's a teacher and there's a student, but that's what a chevruta is. But chevruta comes from the root that means friendship and friend. So would you shake your head? Is that
Yes.
right?
Me and Golda had many, many play dates.
That was such a good line. Yes. Right. So through that.
You can't be around her without laughing.
That was great. I'm going to keep that one for a while. So through that process of study, right? You all those play dates, you become friends, and that's chavruta. And so I know that yad is gorgeous, but it also, I think, is very symbolic of the connection the two of you have made. And so to join your cousin and and Jackie and Peter, I'm going to ask your parents to have the second aliyah, Ya'amdu, Eliyahu ve'Esther, Aliyah l'Torah Sheni. Whenever you're ready. Baruch Adonai
Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher b'charanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia b'toch hamayim v'hi mavdio bein mayim lamayim vayas Elohim et harakia vayavdeel bein hamayim asher mitochot l'rakia ubein hamayim Asher meyal harakia vayachichein vayikra Elohim l'rakia shemayim vayahire vayahivoker yom seini.
And blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. So I'm going to ask your parents to kind of come up back behind you, and you guys can take your seats. Yashikah, because this moment, as you know, Keira, is your aliyah. And so we wanted to have your parents, and Rabbi Karen is up here, kind of up close and personal, because although you've been chanting Torah all along beautifully, this moment is kind of the bat mitzvah moment, And when you're called to the Torah for the first time, your aliyah, that is what, after all that study and all that learning, that's what makes you bat mitzvah, which is not just an event, we call it a bat mitzvah, but it's also you become a bat mitzvah, a daughter of this tradition, who we know, your rabbis and your congregation, your family, will bring everything that's meaningful to you about Jewish tradition into your life as you spring forward into teenage, well, you're already there, but, further along and into, I know that your parents and your family can't even believe it. Blink of an eye is what Rabbi Susan always says, a blink of an eye. And now you're on this journey into your future. And so we know that you're going to bring all of this that is meaningful to you into your life. And so it is an honor, really an honor. Just delightful to have gotten to know you through these years and to have had Zoom appointments with you. And then that turned into in person. It was like, a miracle. Crazy miracle. Exactly. And here we are. You made it, So I'm going to call you with your beautiful Hebrew name that Rabbi Daniel spoke so wonderfully about and had that revelation about Batya, which I know is also a very important name in terms of your family. And so I'm going to call you by that Hebrew name, and then you're going to do the blessings and finish your Torah passage. Ta'amod Batya bat Eliyahu ve'Esther, Aliyah l'Torah, bat hamitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Vayomer Elohim ikabu hamayim.
You're right there. You can start from there.
Vayomer Elohim ikabu hamayim mitochot hashamayim hamakom echad b'tzerachei hayavasha vayehichein vayikra Elohim layavasha eretz v'lachoshech haralayla.
No, Hamayim. That's Hamayim.
You're fine.
You're right there.
Hamayim kara yamim vayar Elohim kitov vayomer Elohim tachei haaretz teshei esav matzriyat sarah eitz peri osei peri let me know asher tzaravot al haaretz vayehichein vatotzei haaretz teshei esav matzriyat sarah laminehu ve'etz osei peri asher tzaravot al haaretz Bayar Elohim kitov Vayir Vayehivoker Yom Shishi.
Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu b'nviim tovim.
Start from the top.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bach.
Oh, you know what? That's me.
That's the wrong one.
Totally on me.
You're like, it doesn't work.
One more time. Well, listen, there were 3 days that Keira read out. Yom Echad, Yom Sheni, Yom Shishi, and here's the third blessing after the Torah. Now you got it.
Are you trying to embarrass me?
No, I would never do that. Robert?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch
Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Turn around and get some nachas from your parents. So these holy moments, and really, isn't it always true? There's always, even in the most sacred of moments, there's always humor, and there's even in moments of joy, there's also sadness, and we want to hold all of that here. So Torah time is also time to bring our deepest prayers into this place, and that includes our prayers for healing. And so it's always part of the Torah service to think about people in our lives that could use the benefit of the spirit of this moment and bring them thoughts of healing. So you can bring to mind people in your lives, maybe even your own self, who could use a healing touch. We say healing of mind, body, spirit. We have a list of people at CRC that we're praying for. And we think of them whenever we hear this prayer. So with Andrew and Leslie, what page is it on? It is on page 27. Thank you, Leslie. This is our healing prayer, the one who blessed our ancestors. We hope and pray continues to bless us and those we love and anyone who needs healing. We sing these words together.
Special prayers for Lois Moonstein.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheperach imodenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
And let's recite together what's called the Chatimah, the part of the prayer that we hope and pray seals it for all who need healing. We say, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeach Cholim, blessed is the Holy One who teaches us ways to bring healing to those who are ill. And we say, Amen.
So we continue on page 28 with Haftorah, with Keira reading Haftorah. And every Shabbat, we have a Torah portion, and then we have a portion taken from outside of the Torah that reinforces the Torah portion. So hers comes from the prophet Isaiah. You can see towards the bottom. So she's going to say the blessing, and then she'll go into our Haftorah, and then she'll say the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emorim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah Moshe avdo, Yisrael amo, uvinviei ha'emet b'tzedek. Ve'ata כה אמר אדוני, בוראך יעקב, ויוצרך ישראל. אל תירא, כי גאלתיך, קראתי בשמך לי אתה. כי תאמר במים איתך אני, ובנחרות לא ישטבוך. כי תלך במו אש לא תכבה, ולחברה לא תקרבך. כי אני אדוני אלוהיך, קדוש ישראל מושיעך. נתתי כפרך מצרים, כוש ושבע תחתיך. מאש יקרת בעיני, נכבדת ואני אהבתיך. ואתן אדם תחתיך, ולומים תחת נפשך. אל תירא, כי איתך אני, ממצרים אני צריך, וממערב אקבצך. Baruch Hadoro, Ha'el, Hane'eman, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Hamdaber Kayim, Shikol Varav, Emet Vatzedek, Al HaTorah, Ve'al Havodah, Ve'al Chanvi'im, Ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenatata Lanu, Adonai Elokeinu, Likdusha V'limnucha, Lechavod Ultifared, Al Hakol, Adonai Elokeinu, Anachnu Modim Lach, Umvarechim Otach, Yitbarashim Chabefi Kohai, Tamid Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Bereshit is about God's creation of the world and the steps they took to get there. It's a very important part of the Torah because this portion really starts the whole Torah. In the Bereshit, our two human characters, Adam and Eve, are introduced. Adam and Eve are the first humans to live. They live in this paradise called the Garden of Eden. Everything's good until it's not. In the portion, a snake comes and tells Adam and Eve to eat the fruit off the tree of knowledge. Previously, God had told Adam and Eve that they can use this paradise and its resources, but not the tree of knowledge. Adam and Eve were not so sure at first, but then they were so pressured by the snake that they did end up eating the fruit. Afterward, God was so mad and disappointed that God kicked them out of this paradise and put them into the real world. My teaching is about peer pressure and how it affects our daily lives. Peer pressure, in my words, is where you're passive-aggressively pushed into doing something, whether it's good or bad. This teaching relates to this previous sentence in Bereshit because Adam and Eve witnessed peer pressure when the snake kept nagging them and telling them to eat from the tree of knowledge. Even though in this scenario peer pressure is bad, it isn't always. There's definitely a negative type of peer pressure, but sometimes pressure from your peers can be a good thing. Here's an example of good peer pressure. You and your friend are walking in the hallway, and you see an audition sign for a musical on a billboard. Your friend really wants you to do it, and you do too, but you have stage fright. Your friend nags you a little bit, like, come on, you really should do it, and you'll have fun. And eventually you give in. Turns out that you have a really good voice, get the lead role, and have so much fun. In this scenario, you witnessed peer pressure, but it all turned out to be okay, and there were no serious consequences. However, you could witness peer pressure when your friends ask you to smoke, do drugs, or do something that you aren't supposed to do. This is when peer pressure turns from good to bad really quickly. Sometimes the decision between whether it is good peer pressure or bad peer pressure is a hard one to make. In this situation, was God right for telling them to not eat the fruit of knowledge with no explanation? Or was the snake correct for telling them to not blindly listen to someone, even God? This is a really difficult question to answer, and I know I can see it both ways. If you think about it, in most situations like these, is there really a good or bad, or just choices we have to make? On to our next thing, which is related to peer pressure, temptation. Have you ever heard the sound of an ice cream truck, and you just jump out of your chair like, Mom, there's an ice cream truck, and I need some ice cream, do you have $5? That right there is temptation, knowing that something is there and pulling you towards it to get what you want. In the portion, Adam and Eve did want to eat the fruit, and the temptation pulled them closer and closer to the tree, that once the snake pushed them a little bit, they did it only after a little persuasion. Now the question is, what do we do when peer pressure and temptation is presented in a situation, and what can we take away from this and learn from Adam and Eve's decisions? Well, in a situation with peer pressure, you can always trust your gut and do what you think is right, not what the other person is pressuring you to do. The same in a moment of temptation. Trust your gut and ask yourself, is it a good temptation or something that will harm you? Next question is, what can we take away from this? Well, we can learn to listen carefully when someone we trust is telling us to do or not to do something. If anyone, even if it's a good friend, tells you otherwise, always listen to the trusted person in the situation. I was thinking about all this interpretation of peer pressure and how it relates to this reading, and I developed a theory. I think God might have put in obstacles for Adam and Eve to face, such as the snake. If you think about it, if it really was a perfect paradise, Why would the mischievous snake slither up to tell them, for no reason, to tell them to do something bad? Maybe it was God testing out their prototype, seeing how they did on this human. Maybe they were proud that they gave in because humans were not designed to be perfect. Let's now think back quickly. Would the snake have made a difference in our life today? If the snake never told Eve to eat the fruit, would she ever have? Maybe she would have, or maybe she wouldn't have. Maybe the snake was a representation of the things we come across in life that may be challenging and or tempting. If these things never came across, what do you think our life would be like? How would you live under those circumstances? Coming back to Adam and Eve, we need to remember that this was the beginning of the Torah, and there are so many more stories to come. Even though we got kicked out of this paradise, doesn't mean we couldn't make a paradise for ourselves. Adam and Eve might have made decisions we could have prevented, but when you're in a situation like theirs, just remember, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself in a moment of peer pressure or temptation. Trust your gut and stay safe.
Wow. Beautiful. Keira, man. Temptation and peer pressure. Probably nothing that you come across in your day-to-day life, right, in junior high. I'm just thinking that you know of what you speak, and you speak about it so well. You, at the very end there, it was like midrash after midrash. You were the Rashi, the commentator, kind of spinning off every verse. What does it mean? What's the symbolic meaning? You know, we say that Torah has 70 faces, meaning there's unlimited ways to interpret, and you interpreted your portion, that story, that lesson that kind of screamed out at you in a way only you could, Keira. Nobody else would have come up with that teaching. Just, it's true. It's true. And it's kind of, I think, the key to what you were talking about. You know, how do you, I love the notion of positive peer pressure. That's really, I'm going to be thinking about that for a long time. And the example you said, you know, all of us can relate to that. At the same time, you know, we are filled with our own, you know, values and our own sort of moral compass and our own voice. And I think that's, to me, you know, the creation story in the Torah is very interesting, you know, and it's also very controversial, right? Because, you know, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people, I would even gather in this room, understand that story to be mythology, right? You know, we know science, and we know the scientific explanation for the origin of the species, to coin a Darwin, right? But we also, so what's the deal with this story then? Well, I think this story is incredible, and it teaches us so many lessons.
There's, so many things that you can take from just one portion in the Torah.
Exactly, right? So regardless of whether it's exactly the way the world was created or not at all the way the world was created or somewhere in between, there's so much for us to learn from it. And one of the things that I learned from it year after year after year is that those two words, they were in your passage that you read right from the scroll. Ki tov. Remember what that means? It is, what does God keep calling creation over and over? It is tov. Hinema tov. Good. It is, yeah. I knew you knew it. Caught you off guard. Ki tov, it's good. And then you get this whole, like if you keep reading that beginning, it's all about the diversity on the planet, all of the wonderful, you know, species and differences and diversity. And what does God say about it? Ki tov. It's good. So that teaches me that our diversity is ki tov, is good. And you know, each of us is unique. That's what we learned from the creation story. And we have and Keira, you're like the prime example of that. Really, really, you've got your own voice, your own way, and because you're so confident in it, people gravitate to you.
And I'm a ginger.
And that, okay, tell me what is that supposed to kind of, what does that say about you?
I mean, I guess it's just like every person is unique. They all have unique traits and like unique like personalities, and everyone should just be treated equally because of their personalities.
And maybe that's the way to combat peer pressure and temptation is to really be confident and comfortable with your own uniqueness, right? To like you've got something to say about every situation. And, having gotten to know you, I have no doubt that whenever you're faced with a tough situation, you deeply know yourself and what the correct way for you is to go forward. Not because everyone is saying so, but what Keira, your core, your center, you have that, and you show it, and you've shown it, here at CRC, and I'm sure you do it at school and in theater and in everywhere. The first time we came here to go through the service, Keira had just found out, like she got it was like on her email that she got this role that she wanted in the musical at Lie Down, right?
Play.
What? Play. Yeah. I like my daughter corrects me on that too. So it's not a musical because there's no music. It's a play. But you got the role that you wanted, and Keira was like just pure joy. Right there, we were practicing her bat mitzvah, but we had to stop because it was so authentic. That's the word, authentic. So I think that's what I hope that you take away, from this bat mitzvah, among other things, is not ever to doubt your authentic self, that's unique, and you have your own voice and your own response, and regardless of what everyone else is doing, they're gonna know just by the way you carry yourself, the way you walk in the world, that your way is the right way for you. And you've got your parents' guidance, you've got Judaism and whatever other traditions are part of your life and your family and community, also to kind of inform you, right? But ultimately, it's what you got, that uniqueness inside. And so, what a privilege to be part of this and to witness, like we all have, you becoming a bat mitzvah. So I want to offer a blessing to you that it's a blessing from the tradition. It's about those moments. Lazman hazeh, it says. This moment. So what I want you to do, Keira, is to hold and look out there. Look at this group of people. Hold inside of you everything that this moment means to you, and I want all of you to do the same thing. I see people in your eyes. I see that you've known Keira and all the different ways that you connect to her. So hold inside of you what this moment means for you as well. And this blessing is for you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Blessed is the Holy One whose presence fills creation, who gave us our life, who kept us alive, and brought us all to Lazman Hazeh, to this moment where we all got to be part of your amazing bat mitzvah, and you becoming bat mitzvah. And we all should say together, amen, and a mazel tov. But our blessings continue as they should. And so this is Mel Goldman, who I referred to earlier. He's a past member of our board of directors, and he is here, Keira, to present you with words of congratulations and gifts from your synod. We're so happy that you and your family are part of CRC.
Keira, you did a tremendous job. But your Torah portion has special meaning for me, because many, many, many years ago, my bar mitzvah, that was my Torah portion. Wow. And one more thing, my granddaughter, that was her Torah portion, and I was able to read from Torah at her Torah portion. So you did a wonderful job, believe me. I mean, you were great. And also at White Island Middle School, I had two grandsons that went there, and they were both in theater.
That's true.
So, a lot of similarities here. Central Reformed Congregation is proud to present to you the certificate that says you have become a bat mitzvah, and the two trees have been planted in your honor in Israel. One tree will be planted in a majority Jewish neighborhood, and the other in a largely Arab neighborhood. It is our hope that the two trees will grow together in a land filled with justice and peace, and you will one day visit and see the fruits of all that has been planted. Mazel tov, congratulations. I don't want to make you cry. Come on now.
Happy tears.
Happy tears. Okay, and this is also a tzedakah jar that you can start filling and do good things with. Thank you so much.
Thank
were
you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mel. Here, I'll take those for now. Don't forget them. Just can't help but smile. You know, really, you went through this journey of bat mitzvah in such a holy way, even with a pandemic, you know, and all the interruptions that caused. We're just so proud of you. I also want to say, I was thinking, you know, Autumn is back there in the new AV booth with great volunteers. And I was remembering that, you know, now that we've all gotten tuned in how to watch these things back on video and all of that. So I want to make sure I say on video that I was showing Keira the wrong page. Rabbi Randy.
It was actually him this time.
So that's for the record. Thank you. And you're amazing. And we want to put the Torah away and begin the conclusion of the service. So I'm going to ask back up here Aunt Andrea, right, and cousins Alex and Gus, and have everybody else. Actually, you tell them, Keira. They are seated, so they should now.
Please rise.
And we are going to be, as we put the Torah away, we will be singing from page 30, Eitz Chaim, and Keira has proven once again that the Torah is a living tree that continues through the centuries to teach us lessons and to give us guidance.
דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיך שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה
You know, a few years ago, it wasn't that long before lockdown, we had a bar mitzvah, and you know, I said, okay, now you can tell everyone to please, and the young person kind of froze for a second and then said, please fly. It was, remember? It was.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
Well, people didn't actually fly. They said, please fly.
It's better than sit down.
It is. But we just for a moment. So we want to make sure everyone knows a few things, I guess, that are happening in the CRC universe. There is a Havdalah, if you want to tune in to the various social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, most specifically, I believe 8 o'clock, right, Autumn? 8 p.m. tonight for, 8 p.m. for Havdalah. Rabbi Susan, Rabbi Jim lead a beautiful Havdalah ceremony to end Shabbat, this wonderful Shabbat where you became Bat Mitzvah, Keira. Lots of opportunities for adult education and Tikkun Olam, social justice work. You can tune in, look at our website, which Adam gave the thumbs up to yesterday. Saw that, so that's a good thing. If you're a member of COC, you'll get special emails as well. But we hope that you get involved in however you can, and as we slowly kind of reopen and re-enter. We're looking forward to more and more ways to make sure we all stay connected and do things that are meaningful. I know that we're starting a new university series Tuesday, right? It's all about immigration, and I believe you had a great passage from Hamilton, right, in your Siddur about immigrants, and we have guest speakers every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. It's all virtual, all streamed, and you could watch the videos. Great speakers who are really involved in St. Louis to do what we're supposed to do, which is be welcoming and create justice for people who are new here. So that's happening. Anything else that I'm missing, Rabbi Daniel? Leslie?
There's an event tonight. It was supposed to be on Art Hill in front of the Art Museum, but the weather's inclement. So they moved it to the Sheldon, and it will be online. It's called the Requiem of Light, and I'm singing in it. We had a rehearsal last night. It's going to be extraordinary. I highly recommend that you take a look at it, 7 o'clock.
That reminds me, I think even as we gathered here, there's another gathering in St. Louis, all over the country. You know, this is we are a congregation that is part of interfaith network of congregations that support reproductive rights and choice. And I know that there's things happening right now downtown St. Louis around that really important issue. So, like I said, get involved in however you can, and we always make sure that before we conclude the service and before we celebrate Keira's becoming bat mitzvah, we want to make sure we bring into this space people whose shoulders we stand upon, people who have passed away and who we want to remember as a blessing. And I know Keira and her family have some remembrances that she would like to read to you.
I want to remember Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was an amazing, inspiring, and powerful woman. May her memory be a blessing. Our family mourns the loss of Ralph Rosen, Bess Rosen, and Johnny Kent. Bess Rosen, from who I get my Hebrew name. I'm also thinking about my guinea pig Piper. He was the best first pet and a guinea pig a girl could ever ask for.
Beautiful, thank you. Now we'd like to ask if there's anyone here who would like to stand, whether you are in your year of mourning or if this is the yard site, the anniversary of the loss of a loved one. We want to recognize you and also hear the names of the people you're remembering. So is there anyone here who would like to stand? And yes, go. Karen.
It's my grandfather.
Oh, Karen. What was his name?
Leon.
For your grandfather. Zikro no livracha. Thank you. Dick. Yeah, Andy Neiman. Oh my gosh, Dick, you know that we've been reading his name even when we're online, week after week, and he's just one of those people who's so vivid, and such a tragic loss. And please tell Amy, we love her, we love you, we love Andy. Creative and brilliant, among many other things. Thank you, Dick. Anybody else? Leslie, Andrew. Thinking about your friend and your dad of blessed memory, and I was thinking about your mom during healing prayers, so got you covered with prayers.
My friend Mary Chapman's mother, Conchita, who lived in 99.
Yeah, God bless. Sorry for your loss. So we'd like to ask everyone now to stand together as a community for those who have been named, but also because we're remembering people, members of our congregation and people who are loved ones of members of our congregation. I'm going to read some of those names. Just recently, Kyle Currier, who was Holly Currier's husband and Noah and Josiah's dad. Noah was bar mitzvah here at CRC. For Beatrice Daniel, who was Hillary Englehart's mother and Steve's mother-in-law. For Judy Hunter, Tim Hunter's mother and Robin's mother-in-law. For Linda Holtzman, a member of CRC, and Alex's mom. For Bernard Davis, who is the father of Laura Davis and father-in-law of Todd Oberman, and Josh, Nina, and Kara's grandpa. They all were bar and bat mitzvah here as well. We're remembering Allison Abbotts and Josie Abbotts, who were the daughter and granddaughter of Linda and Marty Abbotts, a tragedy. For Joan Zucker, who was the late Susie Essman's mother. Always, you've got to smile when you say Susie's name. We miss her. And also Joe Essman's grandma. For Suzanne Cooperman Gill, who was a cousin of Diane Meyer, and Karen Margot, a member of CRC and wife of Mitch Margot. For Matt Friedman and Gary Winnicky, for Andrew Rockman, and for Judge Roberta Hitt, who is a member, and she lived up the street with her wonderful husband, David Hitt. We remember Roberta. For Robert Dale Morell, Corey's father and Tristan's father-in-law. As Dick said, we're remembering Andy Neiman. For Tyler Shemwell, and for Ed Lander, who was Vicki Lander's father. And then we're also remembering Gail Hollefeld, Jill's mom, and Dan Sokol, Rosalind's husband, Orietta Cohn, and Michael Kiernan, who was Deb Katan's husband, and Noah, Aviva, and Zahava's father. We're remembering Marcel Pollack. Sharon is a Saturday morning regular in normal times, and that was Sharon's mother, and she also lost her father just a few months before that, Erwin Pollack. Remembering Emily Engelhart, who was Steve Engelhart's mother and Hillary's mother-in-law, for Robert Fauser, and for Jack Oglander, Vicky's dear and amazing husband. For Louis Myers and Lizzie Presberg and Shirley Gershon, Bob's mom. We ask that all of their memories be a blessing. And one of the ways we do that in the Jewish tradition is by saying the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on the Siddur for Keira's Bat Mitzvah and this Shabbat on pages 32 and 33. So think about all the people, when you just sort of stand for a moment just for the purpose of remembering. Think about all of them, all the people we've lost to COVID, 700,000 souls in this country alone. People who passed from other illnesses, and people who died because of violence and injustice, the kind of things that we could actually work on to reduce. We think of them all. We have space for all of them as we say these words, these sacred words that connect just for the moment the heavens and the earth, so we can feel viscerally those we've loved and lost. We say together, Yit Kadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divrah Chirutei Yamlich Malchutei B'chai Echon v'Yom Echon v'Chayei Echol Beit Yisrael Bagalal v'Zman Kari v'Imru Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Le'olam Olmei Almaya Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'Yitpa'ar v'Yitchomam v'Yitnaseh v'Yithadar v'Yitalei v'Yitalal Shemei D'Kudusha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlam Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei Shalom b'mamav Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru Amen.
Oseh Shalom b'mamav Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael
Nam Livracha, may all of their memories be a blessing. You could please be seated. So the next part of this,
Oh my gosh.
You all right? Yeah. So thanks for everybody's concern, right? That's, nothing's more important than our concern for each other. So as I was saying, the next step in this service is Keira, to hear from your mom and dad, who are going to come up and give you their blessings, their words, And so come on up, you guys, and give your daughter your blessings.
You're going to come this way. All right. It is well-known family history that from the moment Keira arrived in this world, she couldn't await to tell us what she was thinking. It's true. I remember when Keira was about 2 months old, my sister Jackie offered to stay with Keira so that Eli and I could have a much-needed night out. When we returned home, there was a red-faced Keira, screaming in her discontent that we had abandoned her in such a fashion. My sister handed her back to me saying, "Wow, she already has opinions." Yeah, she did, and still does have very strong opinions. Around 9 months of age, she learned that she could put 2 words together to form a sentence, and she hasn't stopped letting us know what's going on in her mind ever since. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
And as she's grown, her opinions have grown into convictions, and she's learned to use that voice as a force for good. She's a recognized leader and everything. I told you I was going to cry.
That's oh.
I give speeches for a job. I'm doing really poorly. All right. Whew. All right. Okay, here we go. Reset. She's a leader in everything that she does, from the goalie pitch, the soccer pitch where she's an incredible goalie, to her classroom at school, to the community organizations where she volunteers her time selflessly. In a world where so many people are so hard-pressed to face these challenges that come with those responsibilities, Keira does the opposite.
Deep breath.
I'm so proud of you. She steps forward with bravery and confidence, doesn't back down. Yeah, take over. No, I got it. I'm going to do this. She doesn't back down, and she doesn't let anyone pull her back. She does so with grace and strength of character. And I know that's who she is. And it's something I look up to every day.
Ready?
Yeah, okay. Go. Total failure. Keep going.
My mascara's gonna drip.
Yeah. All right. I've been told by many members of the CRC community that they appreciate Keira's ruach, which is the Hebrew word for spirit. Keira has a true zest for life and an eagerness to try new things with open-minded abandon. She's become quite an accomplished pianist in her 7 years of study. She will try her hand at pretty much any instrument that crosses her path. She creates works of visual art and composes songs on a regular basis.
Kid, you live a full, sometimes overfull, incredible, joyful, and amazingly, decidedly beautiful existence. Couldn't be more proud.
You're doing great.
I'm doing terrible.
We feel so lucky to have a front row. You okay? I'm gonna give you a second.
It's my fault. I apologize.
We feel so lucky to have a front row seat to watch your life unfold.
So proud.
And we can't wait to see where your story takes you next. We love you.
So much.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Sorry, Bug. I
Does
failed.
my mascara look bad?
No? How about mine?
How does mine look? Pretty bad?
Yeah.
Man, let's all take a deep breath. Amalia, will you come join your family?
Harder than I thought.
Bring up some tissues for your dad. That's so sweet.
Can I have one too, please?
Who says that?
Totally need that. No, I appreciate it.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
My nose has gone runny. It's allergies. Definitely
Yeah,
allergies.
sure.
I also want to say, looking at wonderful Ella, whose bat mitzvah is coming up in,
I think I
well,
took care of
coming
all
up.
of us.
Yeah, March, yeah. But just the French, to witness the friendship of you two, which came from nowhere. You didn't know each other at all, right?
Your fault.
My fault? Whose fault?
Your fault.
Me, Randy? Oh, I introduced
Yeah,
you.
and then he put us together in a group, and we slowly started to like each other. I wasn't sure about you at first either. Seemed kind of sus, not gonna lie.
I think things have gotten away from me here. You notice that? Rabbi Daniel, come join us. Is Rabbi Karen still here? No, back to the school. Oh, man.
It's okay, though, so thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Here, you got one last time at your bar mitzvah to tell people to please.
Oh, right.
Yes. Here's the Kiddush cup. So, we decided we'll say Kiddush, but probably not motzi. And I know everyone, some people are going to go out and eat, hopefully, lunch and all that. But because we're not breaking bread here, we're still not at the point where we feel comfortable having people stay and eat. We'll get there, right? We'll get there. And we're hoping that things get better and people keep getting vaccinated and keep wearing masks. But for now, because obviously this was a sweet and holy moment, we certainly want to have Kiddush, and then on your own, wherever you go, you can give it some thanks for the meals that you're going to eat. So as you hold that cup up, and in a moment, drink from that cup of joy that you help provide for us and sweetness, we sing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Amen? Take a sip. And l'chaim. Life.
Can I drink the rest of it?
Yes, you can. I'm not sure how long it's been there, but I'm just no. I mean it's been in the fridge.
From 18 months ago.
It's March 2020 juice. No, all right.
Like the expiration date was March 2020?
No.
It's been in the cup.
Okay, don't try to poison me.
Oh man. All right. Everyone, have you guys met Keira? Right. So let's put however you, again, in your own, however you feel comfortable, if it's in your pods, your family, or just at a distance, put your arms over each other, but also over Keira, our newest bat mitzvah. And,
come on.
All right.
Come over here.
Okay. And we're going to close with this blessing with words of peace and love for all of you. We say, Yivrachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May we be blessed, and may we be kept safe.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light from this morning, even though it's cloudy and rainy out, man, you filled this place with light, Batya. May that light always keep on guiding us with love and with light and with goodness. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And I have no doubt, having been here, having heard your incredible Torah, having heard your incredible voice. My God, how beautiful is her voice. And this amazing blessing from your family that I cried through also.
I think we all did.
We all did, right?
Yeah,
Definitely. I have no doubt that there will be more peace in the world, more peace in our city, more peace in your life because of what you have taught us today and what you will go forth and teach every day. So we all say, Amen.
Amen. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And Mazel Tov to Keira.
I do public speaking all the time. I get it. Should we say quickly about parking?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. There's an announcement.
Okay, one quick thing. So it's not about my daughter, so I'm going to hold it together. For all of us who are joining us for lunch, it wasn't on the invite over at Vizia. There's a parking lot that's directly across the street from the restaurant. That's available. The restaurant has told us, so you can park there. And we will see those of you who are joining us for food. So thank you so much.
Thanks to Andrew and to Leslie and to Rabbi Daniel for the music. We're back, guys. We're back. Want some water? Great job. Yeah. Remember all the stuff. Hey,